and welcome to another exciting video. In this one, we'll learn about lifting and co-locating React state. Now, a common question from React beginners is how to share state between two sibling components. The answer is to lift the state, which basically amounts to finding the lowest common parent shared between the two components and placing the state management there, and then passing the state and a mechanism for updating that state down into the components that need it. So over here, you can see the example that we have. We have a function component, we have a name component, a favorite animal component, and then a display component. Now all these three are basically used in our app component. Here you can see the name component, which is expecting name, and we have this onChange event where we are setting the name that is entered by the user. For example, over here I've entered Sam and it says the message, "Hey Sam, you're great." Now the name is here, and if you see, the app is having this state coming up inside it, and we are just passing these two things as part of the name component input. So on top you'll see name and on name change event being passed. So for name we are setting the name as value name, and on change we are passing the event handler itself. Now over here we have the next component, that's display. So if you see, display expects only one thing, that's name, and we are passing it over here and it just prints it out. We also have this favorite animal. Now over here the favorite animal has its own state maintenance. So we have animal and set animal. We are setting the animal over here as favorite animal when we are entering something, and it's being set on change. So we have the set animal event.target.value. Now consider a scenario where you also want to have the favorite animal displayed along with the name of the user. So here we can say your favorite animal is, and then we will just copy this piece from here and we'll paste it over here. Let's pass the animal over here as animal, and obviously we'll need it over here as well. So we'll pass the parameter in the display. Now over here, if you see, we need to pass the animal attribute and we need to get it from some place. But if you see, the animal state is being maintained in the favorite animal. So what we'll do is we will be basically doing the same thing that we've done with the name component. So we'll just copy these parameters for now and we'll change it. So we'll have animal and then on animal change as the event handler. After that, we'll get this state out of this component favorite animal and we will be putting it over here in the app. So we have animal and set animal over here now. Next, what we will do is, just like name component, we will be going ahead and we'll be introducing these two parameters that we just now had. So we'll say animal, and here we'll copy the animal, and then we'll have the on animal change event. So here we'll say on animal change, and then the event set name event.target.value. After this, as we have the animal now over here, we can just pass this over here as part of the display component, and the display is already having the animal over here and it will print it out. Now the only change that we need to make over here is animal is being passed as value, but the event that we need to have is this on value change. So you see, on change is equal to on name change. Similarly over here we will be just going ahead and pasting this on animal change. Now let's save this, and here we'll be setting the name as Sam, and then we'll set the name of the animal zebra over here, and there you go, you can see the output over here. So in the favorite animal, what we did is we have assigned the animal as animal, and then on animal change we are using the set animal to set the name of the animal over here, and the same is being passed in the favorite animal component. Now what happens is, if there are some changes in the business logic and you no longer need to display the animal anymore as part of the display component, then you get rid of these things from here, and you also need to get rid of it from the place where it's being passed. But what happens is usually people leave these states as is and they do not move it around. So we need to relocate it to the best place where it is required. For now, in this scenario, after making these changes, the animal insert animal is only being used in the favorite animal component. So now what we will do is we'll take this out from this place and we'll be going back to our favorite animal and we'll be putting it over here. And once that's done, we will be then using the set animal event that we had in the favorite animal itself. And we'll get rid of the parameters that we had earlier introduced based on the requirement that we had. So now we have the animal over here, the set animal over here, that displays back to its previous form. And here we no longer need to pass these two as parameters. And that's how our app is now looking. So to review, what we did here was we explored how to lift a state and then push it back down with state co-location. Our app component here is rendering out some state which does not need to be used by multiple elements. Our app is maintaining the name state. We also have this favorite animal which is maintaining its own state, but then our display component needed to have access to that state. So we lifted the animal state up to the least common parent, which was our app component. Then we passed that state and a mechanism for updating that state down to the components that needed those things. That was the lifting state part. And then we did the reverse to push the state back down for state co-location by moving the state back to where it was before, removing the state from the component that doesn't need it anymore, and removing the props that are no longer necessary. This enhances both the performance and the state management maintainability of our application.